This is the 2024 NFL season uniform preview show where we have new uniforms, we have alternate uniforms, there's throwback uniforms, and new alternate helmets. So this is not an in-depth review, this is an overview, a summary of what we expect to see in the new season. Let's start off with the new uniforms themselves. And some of these we've done an in-depth review of already. So let's hit on some of the highlights. The New York Jets.
Again, the Jets taking their throwback uniforms from last year and making them their primary road uniform, along with adding a home version and an alternate white on green and green on green version, and then revising the black on black version with the now new logo, the Sack Exchange logo brought back. Overall, a great improvement, and in our ratings, going from one of the worst looking teams in the NFL to now very high on our list.
Yeah, I would say practically a top 10 uniform.
Yeah.
Some of that is because this is a bad era for NFL uniforms. So
Yep.
I'm very pleased to see the Jets return to this, though they're not our favorite Jets uniform. Huge improvement.
Yes, and we don't even have pictured here as well the throwback, the Joe Namath era, which was a big surprise and probably makes them, again, one of the best overall uniform sets of any team in the NFL for that reason.
Right. The only thing to not like about the Jets uniforms are the black on black, and then I don't care for the green on green, but all these other combinations are good. As you're going to see a total of 4. We're going to get to that throwback uniform soon.
Yeah.
And I will say we're not going to do a review of every alternate uniform. We've done that with some of the teams, such as the Lions and the Texans. We have that in the other reviews. Let's talk about the Lions.
Lions are similar to the Jets in going back to what worked better and looked better and what they're known for more, especially the home uniform, bringing back more blue, eliminating any of the unnecessary black, and just bringing back the block numbers being one of the greatest improvements as well. More of that Barry Sanders era traditional blue face mask.
This is one of the very few examples of a new uniform that actually works.
Yeah.
Especially, as you said, the home version. The road's okay. The road's all right. I can tolerate the road, but they really did great with the home blue and seeing it in the preseason. It's about time for the Lions. Very close to the throwback uniforms of the past. Not quite that, but they've done a fine job. And we're going to see these for the first time in the regular season Sunday night game. The first Sunday night game, Rams-Lions rematch at Ford Field. And it will make it a better game on the eyes immediately compared to the playoff game. And I was trying to think to myself, is there anything to look forward to in that game? Because I don't like repeats that fast again at the start of the season when you just had them in the playoffs. I like to give it some time, but honestly, the thing I'm looking forward to most is seeing these new Lions uniforms, assuming that they're going to wear the home version. Why would they not?
Right. Again, we don't look ahead and see what teams are going to wear because we like to be surprised. But
though there have been some spoilers
yes,
already, but we try not to.
But yes, you'd figure that they would wear these, being it's their first home game. But the prime time is always a opportunity, and teams like to wear alternates in prime time.
So thumbs up for the Jets, thumbs up, big thumbs up for the Jets, and also thumbs up for the Lions. But the Broncos are another story. We can't go into too much detail on it. We already have. Take it away.
Right. Again, the Broncos to us are a step down from what they already had, instead of going closer to their roots and the throwbacks, the originals. Orange Crush, they took the set that they just had and retired and produced an inferior version of it. The only real improvement is that they don't have the hooks anymore on the jersey or the pants, but that's about it. And you have the one piece effect with the pants in almost every case, and they just have, as we already said in our previous review, no consistent identity. It could be a different combination every week, and they have the most different combinations of any team ever from what we can tell.
Yes, let me say this. There's 17 regular season games now for each NFL team. You see 9 different combinations here. Plus, they're going to have the throwback, which we're going to look at coming up. So that's 10 that we know of. 10 different combinations in 17 games.
Right.
How do you get an identity for your team if you're doing that? And when you look at these 9 here, these are bad uniforms. You feel even more strongly about them than I do.
Yeah. I would rank them the worst in my list, and it's just because it is so much worse in so many cases than what they already had, especially the helmet, going to a matte helmet, taking the stripe and reducing it to this small little piece just at the back of the helmet where you could hardly ever see it. And the only good thing about the helmet is the logo. They, again, have the elevation on the bumper on the front of the helmet again, and not even Broncos or Denver. And like you said, there's not even all the combinations pictured here. You don't have the blue helmet, blue jersey, blue pants. You don't have the blue helmet, blue jersey, white pants. So there's even missing combinations here. In the preseason, they wore the white on white twice and the white on orange once, which was a little surprising, having all these new sets that they repeated even in the preseason.
I mean, how about, too, the pattern inside the numbers that you see on the blue numbers on the road?
Right.
That is something that ticked me off during the preseason. You know, we'll have more looks at it, all these combinations as the season goes on, and it's going to be a headache watching the Broncos. I feel sorry for their fans. The only good news is what we will get to later in the episode. Very disappointing they went in this direction.
Right. Again, I would have liked to have seen them just take that Color Rush version that they had been using and just modified that a little bit. Could have looked a lot better than this.
So huge thumbs down, 4 thumbs down for us. The Texans also have new uniforms.
Yes, and they, in many ways, are very similar to what they already had, especially the home and the road, with just some slight changes. The horn hooks on the shoulders and the number style and the helmet just slight, maybe in the logo size, but very similar. It's really the alternates that are more drastically different. And they didn't wear any of those during the preseason. What we saw of them in the preseason was the blue on white and the white on blue, and just looked very similar from a distance. So the effort really was put more into the alternates.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk too much about the alternates. We've already done that, and there was a lot of excitement with the alternates. And I feel the same as you. I mean, what's all the excitement about the helmet is really about the same helmet that there was before, and there's some things that are better, there are some things that are worse about the uniforms, but how I see them is, instead of improving, they're about the same. So what? They're still the Texans. They haven't won anything, and the uniforms don't help. Now we have the throwback uniforms. We're starting off with the New York Giants. These uniforms go back to, from what I could tell, the 1930s. So it's 100 seasons of New York Giants football. This is a little different than their original uniform. When you think about this goes back to leather helmets. So this went back to the time of leather helmets for football. So they created a helmet to go along with the uniform.
Yeah, and that helmet's very reminiscent of the Bears one that they've been using in their throwback uniforms in recent years. But very interesting, like you said, 30s leather helmet era, to try and translate that here and now. And I don't know what to say, how I feel about it. It's very, very different from anything we've ever watched. Has some nice elements, but it's pretty funky and loud.
Well, I know how I feel about him. I don't like him at all. The Giants have good throwback uniforms, which they have used, especially the 80s, 90s ones, the Super Bowl years with Parcells that always are winners.
Yeah.
I'm fine with those and those only. Those should be their primary uniform. And I feel that the ones they've been wearing for about the last 20 plus years, those should be their alternates. These can stay buried in the past for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Unnecessary.
If they want to wear these one time in maybe the preseason, okay, but I know they won't do that. But that's about as much as I would want to see, really.
Yeah, once is more than enough for this. On the other hand, though, the other New York team, the Jets, oh, they got it right.
Yeah, the Jets continue to get things right. And when they released this new set of uniforms that they did this year, what we wanted was for them to have this as the alternate, eliminate the black,
or this be the primary.
And we figured it's not going to happen, maybe in future years. And then they just completely surprised everyone, bringing these out at a pretty late point in the off season, and it's a great addition.
I'm very excited for this to return. And it's a Monday night game that you could see. That's one to mark the calendar for. Though we don't like spoilers, there's no way to get around it. Mark your calendar, October 14th, Monday Night Football, Bills and Jets in New York. And they've decided that this is the one they want to wear, though. This is the one, the road version of the two. I'm happy. I'd be happy with either of them. So yeah. This is great.
Yep.
This is what the Broncos got right, and this is the uniform that we've been asking for years.
Yeah. this is what they should have gone with for us, and if not this, something modernized or closer. But at least there's this, and they're going to wear it more than once, which will help too. But really nice layout here with all the descriptions and elements, striping, colors, structure, and there are even different striping patterns, helmet, jersey, and pants, but they're all done well.
Yeah, I love this that says the beloved Denver D logo introduced in 1968 returns to the uniform for the first time on Legacy Blue helmets since 1996. That's what they have. Well, if it's so beloved, why is it not the uniform when you saw that terrible lineup of the 9 new uniforms combinations that the Broncos have? Let's go with this instead, and this is a winner all the way.
Yeah.
This one I'm probably most excited to see of all of them. I'm really excited to see the Jets again, but this one we've been waiting a long time for the Broncos, so at least they got this right. Then we got the Jaguars.
This also was somewhat of a surprise, a team that didn't have a lot of winning. In a lot of cases, wearing these uniforms, they did get to the playoffs a fair amount of times, championship game, but for a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl or won a lot, to go back to these that look so much better and to actually be wearing the black socks here, hopefully they do wear them. This is a huge improvement, and you could only wish that this is what they would elevate to their primary uniform again, just like the Jets did. Probably won't happen, but very big improvement for the Jaguars. Just the helmet, the numbers, the Jaguar logo on the side of the jersey, the pants striping again, and then the socks not having that whole one piece look like they have so much white on white on white, or black on black on black, or the whole turquoise all the way down, jersey, pants, socks.
Yes, I'm very impressed by this. Jaguars home returning again, and the fact that the 3 players lined up here all are wearing their socks correctly. And they have black socks, as you said.
Yep.
I mean, it's such a constant complaint of ours that the teams have gone to the one-piece look on bottom. And they're doing it right. They're wearing the uniform like it should be. And the Jaguars have gotten so much wrong for so long. It's nice to see this return, even if it's only one game. This is a look that I would be happy to see them return to, or something very similar. So good for the Jaguars. We actually have some throwbacks, a couple here. Well, I say 3 out of the 4 that I'm genuinely excited to see.
Yeah.
And not only that, the good news from what we do know is that a number of teams are going to be bringing back ones from previous seasons, even last year. So if you like the Kelly Green Eagles, we sure do. The Creamsicle Buccaneers, we do. The Titans wearing the Oilers uniforms, we do. And the Seahawks going back to the blue and silver Kingdome days, we do. I am eagerly awaiting to see those on the field again. I didn't get enough of any of them last year.
Yeah. Especially in good lighting.
Now on to the alternate uniforms. This was a real surprise for the Bengals because they have the white helmet that they've worn, but then they brought out this orange on orange on orange. One of the best helmets in the NFL. But now they have an orange. They've had the orange jersey before, but now they're pairing it up with orange pants, black socks.
Yeah.
And from what I know, they're wearing this in week 1.
Yeah. We don't like alternates on week 1.
But even worse in the NFL because
Even
you only
worse in
have
NFL.
so few games.
Yeah. So, don't like that element already. But then it's just too much orange. They wore the white pants with this before. That was better, a little more contrast. And because they don't tuck in jerseys anymore, you can't see a black belt for a little contrast. Especially Joe Burrow just got the one-piece all-orange effect there. For me, the only good part is the black socks do help instead of going all-orange color rush. But I really think that they should only wear the orange pants with the away jersey white and match it with the orange helmet in that case. But then they look a lot like the Browns, which the two teams look a lot like each other a lot of the time anyway. But that's the only time I think they should wear the orange pants.
Yeah, when I look at the home, I would say, okay, orange jersey with white pants. Or another thing, well, they wouldn't do this, but I was almost thinking the white helmet, orange jersey, white pants. But that kind of defeats the purpose of doing the whole white. And that is one of the examples, I think, of an all white that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
For alternate uniforms. This could be a lot worse.
Yeah, it could be.
But overall, I don't like it. And keep it to one game.
Yeah.
Then another week 1. The Eagles. This was the most recent announcement. This was a real surprise. What are your thoughts?
Definitely surprising being so late, and to bring back the black helmet. There have been some people talking about that possibility in the future, and this was the perfect situation for it. And overall, it's pretty good contrast. Black helmet, white jersey, black pants, and white socks, though I'd like to see a little more thickness or a half black, half white in the sock. So it's not just all white with the seam showing. But overall, it's pretty good contrast compared to a lot of uniform sets. But again, week 1, don't like an alternate in week 1.
Week 1, they're going to be wearing against the Packers. It's going to be the international game that they're using. And it's an okay alternate. I don't feel really strongly one way or another about it. My criticism, though, is more with the helmet, that you already have a dark green helmet. It's one thing if, say, the Kelly Greens were their main uniform, then this would really be something different.
Yeah.
But when you already have a dark green helmet and you go to black, it's a minimal difference, just a slight difference. I actually prefer a white pants look with this. I don't think black pants work. Yeah, just black pants don't really work in the NFL. I've said this before. The Raiders don't have black pants for a reason. The Steelers don't have black pants for a reason. When the Ravens have done black pants, it doesn't work. One of the only examples I can think of dark pants that I like would be a team such as the Bears. That's all I'm really thinking of. Purples don't work well for pants. That's all I'm thinking of right now is the Bears road blue white on blue pants.
Yeah. And this is a home game for the Eagles. For us, it would have been nice that they would have actually had this Packers matchup at home, and then you would have got two of the better uniforms going head to head, and maybe they would have even won Kelly Green's if it had been at home. Primetime game. So yeah, it could have been Kelly Green and Packers, like what year that was, 2010 or whatever it was.
Right, yeah, 2010. They opened the season in Philadelphia. Kelly Green against the usual Packers road uniform, the best road uniform in football.
They could have done that again.
It's an all right alternate, but unnecessary. This is the one. To me, this is the headliner. This is the shocker. It's the front page, the main story of the NFL offseason. The Packers decided to go with a white helmet. The Green Bay Packers, who have the best uniform in all of football, perhaps the best uniform in all professional sports, said, at least for one game, we're not going to have our yellow helmet. It's not gold, it's yellow. Yellow helmet. We're going to wear our white. We're going to have a white helmet for the Packers, and then we're going to do white all the way down. And they've done the white color rush before, but they kept the yellow helmet. Now they're going white all the way.
We said the same thing, think the same thing that a lot of people have said. Number one, why don't you have the yellow stripe in the middle of the helmet to match the jersey? And then a green face mask would look a lot better as well, at the least, if you're going to go with this combination, this helmet. And then you have the all-white stockings to go along. But just the fact that the Packers would not wear their home uniforms for a game in favor of these, doesn't matter how many home games they have, it's still a big loss.
And this is one of the big trends in the NFL, that it's all about white. In the NBA, everyone has to have black. It's black for the sake of black. In the NFL, it is white for the sake of white. That's the look teams want to go with. And you know it's bad when it hit the Packers. Of all teams. I could live with this more if they made some adjustments. Where's yellow on the helmet? Why can't there be some yellow or a yellow striping on the helmet? Green face mask. Can we at least get green socks? Just a few things would help with this uniform. But for me, this is the biggest disappointment of the entire NFL uniform season. I hate it.
And then on the right, why would you wear a yellow undershirt with yellow sleeves?
Isn't that what you're trying to get away from? Not
it
using
should be
yellow?
White or green.
I mean, it's just, as we've said so many times, you have yellow on the shoulder. You have yellow on the pants. Why is yellow missing from the helmet? I'm at a loss with this. And it is the worst. Considering it's the Packers, it is the worst uniform addition for any team in the league. I don't think it's open to any kind of discussion or debate. The worst. And I feel very sorry, and I feel very bad for the Packers fans. They don't deserve this. This is coming from 49er fans. Our rivals are the Packers. I would never wish this on the Packers. Fans, ever. On to the Ravens. So the Ravens have... It's not an altogether new look, but the helmet is the new addition here.
And we did review this briefly before, and there are a few good things that I could point out about it, I do like the gold face mask matching the stripe down the middle, even though the stripe isn't complete. But that's probably about it. It's a matte helmet, and to me, I feel they chose the weakest logo of any logo they could put on this helmet, with the Raven coming right at you forward. You need something that is going sideways or horizontal, and they could have used the B logo with the speed effect coming off of it. They could have used the turn back original B logo with the shield and the wings coming out of it. This is the worst logo they could have chosen for a helmet.
Yeah, although the original helmet wasn't very strong, it would have been cool if they went back and just brought that back and wore it once.
Yeah.
With even the current uniform one time. This is a disappointment to me. It could have been indeed worse.
Yeah.
I really don't like it. It's a weak uniform all the way around. Purple can be done well, but needs to be kept to a minimum.
Yeah.
And this was a good time for Paul Lucas to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Lucas is the uniform king, and he can't stand the color purple. This is not a game I hope that is a major, matchup. Thankfully, the Chiefs and Ravens are playing week 1. It's in Kansas City, so it's not a game like that.
Right.
But it could be another big game
later
this season. I don't know what one it is. This is hard on the eyes.
Yeah.
Then the Vikings. Yes, the Vikings are white for the sake of white. And they had the white look with the jersey and the pants. And now they've gone all the way with the helmet.
Yeah. We talked about this previously too, and what they had already done was bad enough. Wearing white at home all the way down except for the helmet, but now the helmet's included too, and they substitute silver for yellow in places, and it's just way too much white, way too much tights bodysuit effect, and the helmet is just too weak. Again, we said when we originally reviewed it that at least they could have inverted the logo and made it purple, filled it in more contrast, more structure, but no, just super plain.
And this is what we know as the ballet look. Now, this is not the kind of look that you would have thought NFL players would want to wear, but this is a real hit with them. Never would have seen this coming, but it is what a lot of players enjoy playing in. I'm trying to keep my composure here. That's the Vikings, so I give it an F for me.
Yeah.
The Packers is an F with their all white. The Vikings are an F with their all whites, and it makes a team like the Eagles that I'm not crazy about look really good because at least they don't have the tights. They have real traditional looking pants there, as much as I don't even like the black.
Yeah.
The white Jaguars helmet. Another one. So here is yet another white helmet. It has a black face mask, but what do you think about the Jaguars white helmet to go along with the Vikings and the Packers? And you have 3 teams here going with an alternate white helmet.
Yeah, just like you said, that just seems to be the trend in the NFL, white for the sake of white. Sure, the Jaguars have their white on white uniform, but a lot of teams do, and it's not really a primary color of theirs or an enhancement. It's white like most teams have. don't need a white helmet to go with it.
And then we finish off with not a new uniform, not a new helmet or an alternate. We have the Guardian cap.
Yeah, they're now allowed in games, and we saw some in the preseason. We didn't actually see any in the 49ers games that we were watching up close, but
49ers,
other teams,
Raiders, those were the preseason games we were looking at most closely. That's a picture of Jonathan Taylor, who's a well-known player. We didn't think this would ever go beyond the practice field. Well, let me take that back. I thought there was a chance that we may see this on actual NFL field on game day. I didn't think it would be this soon.
yeah, and if you're injured, you're saying it's one thing, but
Yeah, or you have a concussion history,
Yeah.
perhaps we can live with it. But does it have to be that big?
yeah. And if it is going to be that big, can you make it not a cloth? Can you make it still some sort of shell, something that isn't having creases and folds and kind of falling off in places? More like Steve Wallace, Mark Kelso back in the 90s with the 49ers and Bills. More of a shell, at least fits over the helmet, looks more like a helmet.
It's gigantic. It's space helmet-like. It's oversized. And to be honest, if you wear one of these, I mean, I am for player safety, but this is going too far, having these on the field. If you want to talk about player safety, then have 14 games instead of 17 games on the regular season. 16 games instead of 17 games. Don't have an extra team in the playoffs, or eliminate a round in the playoffs and just go the divisional round. It's never going to happen because there's too much money to be made. I just don't want to see these on the field. There's got to be a better solution to having more protective helmets than this.
Yeah, we thought the Vichi's trench helmet was bad enough looking. Those look great compared to these. Yeah, can't you make a version of that helmet that will work well enough to not have to go and wear something like this?
Yeah, well, that's a wrap for our season preview. We'll be looking at these in depth more closely as the season goes on, and we're actually looking at regular season games, and we'll have reviews throughout the season. And I'm glad to say at least there are some uniforms to really look forward to. We've got a couple of good new uniforms and half a dozen good throwbacks, maybe even more when you think about the Falcons and the 49ers, their uniforms from the past that they're bringing back. And then you also may have that 80s, 90s Parcells era Giants too.
Yeah, the contrast.
Oh, the Patriots. Pat Patriot.
Right.
That's another one, and possibly the Dolphins.
Right, the Dolphins too. Yeah, there's never been a greater contrast in uniforms than now. The throwbacks, the new trendy uniforms, and then everything that falls in between.
Yeah, that's what I'm thankful. We have as many good throwbacks because we need them with all the terrible designs we've had recently and these white-on-white alternates and these white helmets.